Hi guys, it's SJ. Welcome to Baby Name Mondays. Today's video is a big list of unique and rare winter themed baby names, winter and Christmas. I'm doing 11 this week and I will do 11 more next week, so we can chat about them for a little while on each video. I've kind of blended winter and Christmas names together because what I've done is tried to find really unique, rare, unranked and possibly unthought of before, some names you have never ever heard which are beautiful and very, very wearable. We all know there's things like Holly, Ivy, Joseph, Mary. There's quite a lot, Noel, of really strong associated names to this season and to Christmas and the holidays. I actually love the name holiday. So I wanted to dig a little deeper and find something a bit more unusual, as you know I always do. There is a new baby name list here on my channel every single Monday, so don't forget to hit subscribe and hit the little notification bell. I know some of you are saying that my videos aren't showing up, so sorry about that, but I'm going to try and premiere this video so we can chat live in the comments as well. Let me know if you enjoy doing that. If you have any other December, winter, Christmas baby name ideas, do pop them in the comments below and I can hopefully feature them soon as well. And there's going to be some bonus baby name videos coming up on my channel this month, so yes, there'll be lots more. My first rare choice I think could be a boy or a girl name. It's super rare and that is the name Moss. So what do you think of the name Moss? It's very cool kind of as a surname first name because we have Kate Moss, the uber famous supermodel here in the UK, but obviously she's a global supermodel. Moss also is that dark green colour, so it's also got a colour name, and I absolutely adore that colour. You'll see it a lot everywhere in my house all year round. I think it's so comforting and warming. And Moss of course is a nature name because moss grows throughout the winter. If it's not too icy, when it starts to get cold, you'll start seeing moss growing around, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think the name sounds gorgeous. It could also be short for Moses, which is a very biblical name of course, and that's also, you know, religion is a huge part of this season, so that also is a lovely link to it. But I just think it sounds really edgy, really cool, but not at all silly to me. What do you think? If you met a baby named Moss, would you think it is more for a boy or more for a girl, or would you give the baby's mummy and daddy a huge congratulations and give you baby name envy? It certainly would for me. So there were only 6 babies named Moss last year, so it is being used, but just for boys. And Moss actually means saved from the water. So I never knew that, and I guess that's because moss grows around water. And if you think about how you have maybe a water birth or how your baby grows surrounded by water inside of you, it's quite a beautiful meaning as well if we're looking for a water themed name. What do you reckon? I couldn't really do this name list without including the baby name Winter. I love it spelled traditionally, but you could also spell it with a Y. It's actually more unique and rare than I thought. There were only 97 girls named Winter last year and only 7 boys. I think it works super duper well for boys. I've always absolutely loved this name and I think it's not so used yet, but it's getting very popular. I read a lot of baby name forums and I watch a lot of baby name videos here on YouTube, and it's constantly mentioned as like a one that got away. People are like, I really wish I'd been brave enough to go for it. Of course, all of the seasons, we have summer as a very strong baby name, autumn as well, very associated with girls. Winter is just starting to come up there and I think it's a beautiful, beautiful one. Winnie is a really lovely vintage name that she could be shortened to. Reading the forums, some mums were saying that their children did get a lot of kind of, not teasing, but you know, it's a remarkable name, isn't it? It's like, are you going to melt in the summer? Have you got a sister called Autumn? And these types of gags are coming up on a few forums, but all the mums who chose it said that their children absolutely loved it and they absolutely loved it. So I think 100% go for it. Next up is a very rare one, and that is the name Snow. I've got a bit of a crush on this name at the moment. There were 13 baby girls named Snow last year, so it's actually kind of very rare, but I was even surprised there was that number. Have you ever met a little baby called Snow? And I just think it looks and sounds absolutely beautiful. Again, I went online and asked some people on baby name forums and it got an overwhelmingly positive response. I was quite surprised. The only negatives people were saying was it sounded quite abrupt and short and maybe didn't sound like a complete name. I think it'd be beautiful in a middle spot. Actually, a friend of mine is going to have a baby and her first daughter's middle name is Blossom, and I thought it'd be beautiful if her second daughter's middle name was Snow, and you can have Blossom of Snow like from Sound of Music, which is a huge Christmas movie. I just did a video on it, which is the one before this one. So yeah, I think if I was to have another baby, boy or girl, I would pop Snow in the middle name. I just think it is gorgeous. You of course have Snow White, so it is a Disney name as well, and I just think it is beautiful. I think that it sounds to me like a complete name. It sounds very, very pretty. It looks gorgeous on paper. She'd have a Disney princess name and a beautiful wintry Christmassy name too. I think it's a good one. 64 girls were called Ember last year. Ember means burning low or a low spark, so when you're just lighting a fire, and it's so cozy and warming, and I just think it is beautiful. Could also be a boy name. I think these are all quite gender neutral so far, and I think Ember for a boy is beautiful as well. Maybe just more feminine because of M, and we're used to Emily, Emma, and those types of sounds, and then obviously Amber that it sounds a lot like. I think it is a beautiful, beautiful, warm, cozy, loving name for this time of year. Ember actually means man or men in Hungarian. So yeah, it totally works for a boy as well, in my opinion. I think it would be a beautiful one, especially in a middle spot. What do you think? I actually love the name December. I love the name January as well, but January is quite getting used now, isn't it? So obviously that is another winter name, but not many people are using the name December. It's actually totally unranked, and I really, really like it. I like the idea of naming your child after the month they were born in. Obviously we do it a lot with April, and a few of them we seemed okay with, but some of them we're not okay with. But I think December is actually a very beautiful one. It's a very lyrical sound. It's soft, but it's strong, and it could work for either boy or a girl. It's got the Ember at the end. Obviously we just talked about the name Ember, so that could be a little nickname. M could be a nickname. It's got quite a unique history, December, because the beginning of it, the DEC, actually means 10, because the original Roman calendar actually had 10 months. So it's quite unusual, isn't it? So December is a lovely, lovely sounding name, and I would really think about using it. So I don't know, does December sound like a really wearable name to you, or does it sound too out there? I think it really, really works. Considering all the months, I think it's a really, really wearable one. The next name is the name Tansy. So I would see this more as a feminine name to me. The reason I've gone with Tansy is after the birthstone Tanzanite. So Tanzanite is one of December's birthdays. It's a beautiful colour. It's like a blue or a violet. So it would be a beautiful colour theme for your child. And I always think that's really nice. So you can buy them clothes in that colour, decorate their room in that dark blue. How fashionable is that on walls at the moment? I'm desperate to do ours once we start renovating. We're going to have dark blue everything. But yeah, Tansy is a great name. It's also one of the flower fairies names spelled with an S. It's really unranked. There were only 7 baby girls named Tansy last year. It was spelled with a Z, and I think it's beautiful. I really like it. It sounds very, very pretty to me. I love that it's a flower fairy. I love that it's a colour. I love the fact that it's linked to December. So I hope you guys really love it too. Let me know what you think. The 3 wise kings names are often talked about on these lists, and Gasper was one, which then also translated into Jasper and Casper. So it's quite a lovely name for a December baby. But I really also like Balthazar, who was one of the other 3 wise kings. 3 wise kings? Like I should say 3 wise men, or the 3 kings, but yeah, 3 wise kings, I'm not too sure. So this is an unranked baby name as well. We obviously have Balthazar, Getty, and some famous Balthazar, so I don't think it's that unusual. I love long boy names, and I know you guys do as well, and it's soft but funky with that cool Z in it that makes it really stand out as a name. It doesn't really seem to lend itself to being shortened to anything. Can you think of a little nickname for a Balthazar? I think if I had a Balthazar, he would just always be called that. Bal sounds quite sweet as well, a bit like Belle, but a masculine form of. I think it is a really lovely one, up there with like Sebastian, Nathaniel, along that kind of lines. The name Lumi is absolutely stunning, and it is a Finnish name, and I always look to Finland and Finnish names at the moment because they're beautiful, and Lumi means snow. So I think I've talked about it a couple of times before, but wanted to mention it again in case you've missed it. I know that Luna is so popular, Luna as in moon, which also would really fit into this sort of dark December cozy Christmassy list, but Lumi I just think is absolutely beautiful. I can see it starting to get a bit of a hipster following. Having a look at how many people have used the name Lumi. So a 6 6 babies named Lumi last year, but it only ranks number 3,583 here in the UK. If anyone is Finnish, let me know, does it get used as a name in Finland? Sometimes they say, oh, this name is from this country, and people like that would be such a weird name in our country because it just sounds like you're saying snow or something. So but I think as a name over here or globally, it works beautifully, and how nice to have that meaning. So another one that I read from a Finnish list and fell in love with is the name Twain, which apparently means like a wintry cold wind in Finnish. Again, I'm taking this from the internet, and I know that I get so many people like, no it doesn't, but yeah, apparently that's one of the main meanings of it, and I really like that Twain. It sounds kind of woody, outdoorsy, wintry, doesn't it, even just by itself, foresty, and I just think that that name is beautiful. Obviously we know Mark Twain, the writer, so it's very literary sounding as well, and I think it's just a gorgeous one. It's very unique sounding and very rare, and if you were called Twain, I think you would have quite a lot of compliments. The only thing is it sounds a bit like Wayne, so you'll probably be like getting, oh, are you Wayne? And they're like, no, I'm Twain. And yeah, Wayne is a very different type of vibe to Twain, but I really like it. One of my favourite girl names that a few of you guys really like as well is the name Joy. This was on my name list for my daughter, and when I was having Finn, I didn't know if I was having a boy or a girl. I just love the name Joy because it just is such a strong association with this time of year, and of course it means happiness and all of that great stuff, and it's the sort of time of year when we start saying the word joy, and that name is kind of coming back into fashion. There's a perfume called Joy, isn't there? And I just think it's going to be one again that is one to watch. There were only 604 girls named Joy last year, but there were also 6 boys named Joy. Isn't that unusual? So it could be a boy name. I so associate this as a girl's name because I guess it's always been a feminine name in like literature and on TV and in culture, and there's lots of grandmas called Joy, weren't there? But yeah, Joy for a boy. Oh, perfect. Last up is a Turkish baby name. I love the Turkish baby names, and this name is Ilkay. And that's absolutely lovely, isn't it? And it means first moon. So I thought that was a beautiful one for the dark nights, you know, at 4 o'clock and the moon is already out. And I loved the idea of thinking about things that were just very dark and cozy and warming for this list. And I'd never heard Ilkay, and I know Kai is a really popular name, and adding that Ilkay just sounds really kind of Eastern and exciting and exotic, but very wearable as well. Apparently there's lots of Turkish baby names all around the moon, and I have a few of them saved for next week's name list as well, some beautiful Turkish girl names that I have discovered for you. So do stick around for that one. I hope you've enjoyed these very unique and rare names. I hope they're not too out there for you. Some of them you've probably heard before. Would you consider any of these? Have you met a baby with any of these names? As I said, next week I will be doing more, and there will be a bonus baby names here on my channel next week. Lots of love everyone, and very happy holidays. Bye.